Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of 1700's Home Edition, the place where we dive into the Australian music industry and talk about the people, places and events contributing to this vibrant and electric art scene. I'm your host Nick.
And I'm your host Victoria. Before we begin, Sin and RMI TV acknowledges and pays its respect to the traditional owners of the land in which the Media Collective and studio stand, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations.
Sin and RMI TV also acknowledges and pays respect to the elders and traditional owners of the land our content reaches. Now, Vic, we have had a lot of fun being able to incorporate a variety of segments into each week's episode of Home Edition. So what in fact do we have lined up for today's show of Home Edition?
Well, Nick, we have a very, very exciting show today. Not only have we got the latest news in the music scene, but we've also got our usual clip of the week.
That sounds amazing, Vic. Some really interesting segments there, so super excited to get started. Before we do get started though, a reminder to everyone watching that we are always welcoming feedback on the new content which we are producing remotely.
And if you can't get enough of the 1700 team, you can also find us on Instagram, 1700_TV, and YouTube, 1700 TV.
Wonderful. I think we should get started now, Vic. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. This is 1700 News with Vic and Nick.
With the COVID-19 pandemic heavily impacting numerous sectors of the Australian arts industry, there is one particular charity that is continuing to do plenty of good for the music scene. Aiming to assist artists, crews and music workers, Support Act has been able to provide numerous crisis relief grants, aided by funding from the Australian Government. According to an article from the music publication, which looked into this invaluable crisis support, the team at Support Act have seen a 700% increase in the need for their services since the beginning of this pandemic. And look, seeing these figures, one really has to admire the work of Support Act, being able to provide the needed assistance and recovery strategies for all those individuals within the music scene is so important, and it's really inspiring to see the work that is happening from these Aussie organisations.
Now, this is some news I know we've all been hoping and of course waiting to hear, especially for those who work as creatives. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has revealed that the arts industry will be given $250 million to help it recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Since these individuals were not covered by the JobKeeper package, this combination of loans and grants is supposed to help the industry recover. Considering this was a sector that, as the Prime Minister put it, had their business taken away from them overnight, this type of funding is so appropriate and of course necessary. And we have to keep in mind that although, restrictions are easing in some areas of the country, many of these people are still out of work and will continue to be for a really long time.
As part of the Australian Independent Labels Association, or AIR, the Women in Music Mentor program is set to be launched this year and has been backed by the Australian Government, focusing on career and leadership progression, as well as developing skills in multiple disciplines. The program will incorporate workshops with industry professionals for a 5-month duration. Applications for this fantastic program are open now and will close on the 31st of July. This is such a wonderful announcement, and I'm really excited to see how this program goes and the further opportunity it leads onto for all those involved. This is definitely a great step forward for the Australian music industry.
In an effort to protect Australia's ecosystem, Red Hill Auditorium has announced its plan to become the first carbon-negative live music venue in Australia. Beginning this summer, the Perth venue will contribute to the re-establishment of ecosystems in the Western Australia wheatbelt known as the Yarra Biodiversity Corridor. The purpose of this initiative is to retain more carbon that would be created as a result of a show, as outlined by Amplify. I, for one, think this is such a great idea, definitely something other venues in Australia should also consider, especially because this venue in particular has had artists like Post Malone, Hilltop Hoods, and Rufus perform there. If we get artists on board like that, I think it's a really good sign of where the future is heading, and it can be implemented anywhere if people really want to do so.
Sounds like such a fantastic initiative, Vic. And now looking to some standout Australian music hits, this time taken straight from this week's Sweet 16 playlist. What do we have lined up? We have Elle Fresh the Line with Mother Tongue, Pop and Jean with Don't Even Know, Kuya James and Emily Wuramara with Trust, and Vintage Crop with Gridlock.
Then we have Sophisticated Dingo with What Is Going On, The Boys with Linda, Floodlights with Thanks for Understanding, and Gum with Airwalking. And as Nick said, these have been chosen by our Sunday Sweets team here at SYN. If you want to hear more of the local and international releases, make sure to tune into the show every Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can listen to it on your radio at 90.7 FM or just listen to it on the SYN website at syn.com.
And my co-host for 1700 Home, Victoria, is also a regular host on Sunday Sweet, so definitely check it out. It is 100% worth it. That is it for now. This has been your 1700 News with Vic and Nick.
Of course, it wouldn't be a 1700 episode without our usual clip of the week. This week, our clip is Darcy Spiller with What in Hell.
You got me spinning around and around, spinning like circles around my crown.
As part of the debut EP from this Melbourne-based artist, What in Hell takes a wild yet unique musical journey, shifting from angelic soprano to guttural rasp throughout the song. Interestingly, the filming for this music video was actually captured in a small rural Victorian town, and I must say it's really captivating to actually watch this music video.
Shout out to our music manager because this is a great pick. You can catch the whole video on streaming platforms, and I really recommend you guys do it. It's really great. This has been another episode of 1700 Home Edition with your hosts, Nick and Vic.
As always, we would like to extend a massive thank you to everyone tuning into all the new 1700 content, as well as for the continued support for the Australian music industry.
We are super excited to bring new content to you, as well as keeping you updated about the latest news in the music industry, chatting to some of your favourite artists, and really just showing our love for the music scene.
So if you would like to see more of the 1700 squad, as well as other episodes of Home Edition, you can find us on Instagram at 1700_TV, as well as on YouTube at 1700TV.
Unfortunately, that is it for today, everyone. Have a great week though, and we will be back with more 1700 home and artist interviews before you know it.
This is Vic and Nick signing off.